Okay guys, so today I'm going to be revisiting a video that I haven't done in a little while, a series that I kind of like to every so once in a while keep up with, and that is my how to live in the woods long-term setup. And this is basically a setup that kind of is a recommendation for people, and also I just kind of like to think about this, like how I would carry, how I would get ready if I had to be dropped off in the woods or survive in the woods for upwards of several months. We're talking, you know, a month plus in this, so a month, 2 month, 3 month, and this is kind of the setup that I would choose if I had to do that, if I had to live in the woods long term. And this is kind of honestly looking and thinking about what I think are the highest quality tools, what I think will continue to run day after day after day in those types of situations, given the environment that I live in. Now, I was hoping for a little bit more of this snow to be gone, so we're going to have to just pretend that it is springtime, because it is technically springtime here in Alaska, but the snow hasn't moved as much and we've gotten a ton of it. So it doesn't quite look like springtime, but just pretend most everything is melting because really about this time, and just so you guys know, it's basically April right now. It's like a day or two before April right now. So basically it's April, but yes, it hasn't quite, it's not quite broken up yet. So anyways, generally by most parts in Alaska, most times in Alaska, this is already gone. But anyways, so getting back to the topic too, you guys will probably also notice that I am around my house. I'm not in the middle of the woods. If you guys are familiar with this series, I've done 2 videos so far of how to live in the woods long term. And in both of those other videos, I was actually completely out in the woods. I did several mile hike to get to where I was before I did those videos. But the reason why I've chose a more local place is because I always had to jip with those long-term setups, because I had to carry a couple cameras, microphone, batteries, tripod, all those different things that it requires to bring this video to you guys. And so I wanted to, without jipping anything on this video, I wanted to set the camera up here and not have to load the camera into the backpack for this video. I wanted to be able to fully bring this to you guys, just how it would be, pretty much exactly to a T of what I would be carrying, what I would have on me, or what my pack setup would look like if I were to go into the woods long term. Because obviously if I were to go into the woods long term, I don't know, maybe I would film, but I probably wouldn't be as interested in filming. So anyways, please do not forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I apologize for the very long intro. Now let's jump into this. So as I almost always do with all my pack setup videos and stuff, I'm going to be breaking down what I have on me, like what's on me and what I'm carrying. And then I'm going to go into my backpack and all the equipment that's in the backpack, and just kind of explaining my philosophy and why I've chosen everything I've chosen. And quite a bit has changed from my last how to live in the woods long term, especially the one that was more summer spring oriented, and this one's kind of more summer spring oriented, because I hope if I make enough spring videos, spring will finally decide to come. Anyways guys, now let's jump into this. Like I mentioned guys, before we get into the pack setup and what's on the pack, we're going to talk about what's on me. And so starting off with the rifle, this is a pretty usual sight here. And this is just my normal Henry 22 rifle. This is my 22, my go-to 22, and this is of course going to be accompanying, this is going to be the primary gun for game getting, and I'm going to show the ammo. Of course, I would always carry these guns fully loaded in the field, but I would have ammo on body and in the pack. So for ammo, that's how I generally roll, and in the pack, I'll get into that later. So as far as it goes, it's just my 22 Henry Golden Boy. It works really well for me. This is a gun that I've fielded a lot, and it's a really great small game rifle. It's very accurate, and it's very efficient at doing what it does, which is killing small game. I might roll in a picture of several of the game animals I've killed with this thing, but one thing that I really do like about this rifle is that I have killed quite a few game animals with it, so I'm really competent, and I really know how to use this rifle to get game. So that's the primary reason I'm carrying this. And once again, it's just the 22 rifle I have, and it's a really reliable, really rugged rifle. This thing has been, like I said, fielded a lot by me, banged around, dropped, and probably mishandled more than it should have been, but continues to work. and the action on this is a very nice, very smooth, and unlike with a semi-automatic rifle, the primary reason why I've chose a revolver that I'm going to get to and a lever action is there's not really that many moving parts to these things, and they're very hard to go wrong with. So unlike in a semi-automatic, especially a gas-driven semi-automatic, there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of little things that can break. With these rifles, they're pretty simple. So that's another reason why I'm primarily going over to the lever action. I want things that are very basic, very simple, but very functional for what I need them to work as. Okay, so that was my rifle that I'm carrying. Now for the rest of what's on my body. So primarily for knives, and I'm going to go over all the knives because there's one in the pack, but the two knives that I'm carrying for bushcraft are going to be the Bark River Knives Aurora, and then so that's the primary go-to belt knife. That's what I'm going to be carrying on my belt. It has a ferro rod. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it has a ferro rod on it. And then on my neck, I'm carrying two things. So I'm carrying my secondary ferro rod, which is just the Exotac Nano Striker XL, and then I'm carrying an Anza Bumblebee. And I really like the Bumblebee, and when I wanted to go over this whole pack setup, I wanted to have three knives, so a small, medium, and large knife. So this is the small one for delicate carving, skinning tasks. That's going to be relegated to the Anza Bumblebee, which is a very, very tiny knife that you guys can probably see, but it's insanely sharp, and it does a really good job at carving, dressing out game animals. It does it all really, really well. And so those are the two neck things I'm carrying, and the small and medium knife are both on me. So then of course I'm going to kind of rotate around. You guys can see I have the PSK. The PSK is going to be usually fitted like my PSK is with medical supplies, survival supplies, just in case anything happens. It's the personal survival kit. It's also going to have ammo for the rifle so that I can continue to have ammo with me for the rifle. So I want to have just a little bit, just a buffer, generally about 2 magazines, one in the gun and an extra magazine worth of ammo in the PSK. Then going around, I have a flashlight that's not too important. Then more importantly, for the long-term survival, I'm going to be carrying a Charge Plus as my multi-tool, just because it has the ability to take apart the rifle, the handgun, if I need to unscrew any screws or do anything, any tinkering with them. One reason I chose specifically this gun and this revolver is they all use flathead screws on basically all of the important, if not actually all the screws of both of this handgun and that rifle are just flathead screws. So that makes them really easy to take down in the field if I need to get into the internals and see them or mess with anything. I also have pliers and a whole bunch of things with the Charge Plus. So it also has like a small saw and, you know, just general purpose stuff in case I need it. So then as far as knives go, for the folding knives, I'm just gonna have a benchmade bug out. That's basically it. It's a really lightweight folder, and it's a good folder for the woods because it has a really nice steel. It's really lightweight, and the blade shape lends its hand pretty well to that. So then in addition to that, like I said, I'm carrying extra ammo for the rifle, and then in here is the extra ammo for the revolver. So in here, there's around 20 rounds here, so that's more than just one revolver cylinder worth. That's like a handful of cylinder worths, but it's a very convenient and easy thing to carry in a cargo pocket, and since it's so slim, it is a little wide, but since it's so slim, it's really easy to walk with. So I've talked about it and alluded to it enough. The revolver is, of course, if you guys are familiar with the channel, is just a Ruger Blackhawk and 41 Rem mag. This is primarily for self-defense or guarding of, like, if there's any large or predatory animals. I know I've gotten a lot of flack in the past for my long-term survival, wood survival setups, and they're like, you know, what do you do if a bear attacks? What do you do if this attacks? What do you do if that attacks, you know? And so this is primarily the handgun for that. It can also be used, though, for taking down larger game animals such as moose if I need to hunt for meat. In that regard, I know it seems a little bit like sideways where you're like, what, you'd be using your handgun to take down the large animals when you have a rifle, but yes, that is how I would run it. If I had to go out for moose, definitely the 41 Rem mag is definitely enough. to take down moose, bear, brown bear, black bear, all of those things. That 41 Rem Mag is a very capable round for all of the larger and more dangerous game animals. Or if I ran up on moose, this is the type of gun that I would go to. And like I said, I have extra cylinder reloads here in my pocket, and it's all very close. So if I need to take something down and then, you know, say I drop that thing and I just want to reload my gun, I have the ability to reload it several times actually. So other than that, not carrying anything too special. So other than that, I'm not carrying anything too special. Basically, I just have some EDC stuff on me too, but for the most part, that's what I have related to on my body for living long term. So now we're drawing here a little bit closer so we can take a look at the backpack, and we move you guys down here so you guys can hopefully see the backpack. And of course, it is the Camelback linchpin. So of course this is the Camelback linchpin here, but I have the linchpin set up in a little bit of an interesting way. So first of all, I have actually figured out, and it wasn't that complicated, but I never really thought to do, for those who are really classic subscribers, you'll know what these are, but I did double game loops, and what these are, and I've used these to high effect in the past when small game hunting. If you don't want to actually hold your game animals like hares, squirrel, duck, grouse, whatever you kill, that small game, you can actually use these little loops here. And I just made little, these are, what are they? They're not nooses, but they're San Diego jam knots. And so I did double jam knots on both sides of my pack so that I have small and large. And so you can generally just hang game animals right off your backpack, and that way you're putting the game animals onto your back, and your back's better at holding the weight than your hand, and it also frees up both of your hands so that if you need to do something with them, or if you're still hunting and you want to be able to hold your gun or whatever, I have doubled game hangers here for both sides so that I can carry a lot of game animals on me. And I mean, I could definitely carry a lot of game animals, at least 8 different things, whatever. I could definitely carry on this pack setup. So that's something that I came up with a long time ago. I haven't put game hangers on my pack in a little while, but I thought of doing double game hangers, and I wanted to test that option out. It works really well. So aside from that, I'm going to actually switch over to something a little bit more untraditional, and that is I'm going to be talking about my water bladder setup. But first, I'll talk about the axe just so I can kind of get it out of the way. This is, of course, I would be fielding an axe because I do have a saw in the pack, but as we all know, saws, as great as they are, their blades do run dull eventually. So to have as a backup, plus for splitting, kindling, and firewood, I want to have a pack axe. And so for this, it's a GBA, or Grants Forest Brooks Scandi Forest axe. So that is pretty usual setup with, of course, a catchment lanyard. So in case it gets dropped in the snow or whatever, it can be found. So aside from that, like I said, I'm going to be, as you guys can see, the hydration setup is a little bit different. And I know some people have frowned in the past about, like, why do you use a water bladder for, you know, like bushcrafting or being outdoors, but I do have a little bit different this time. So I have it set up like this so that I can actually reach it very easy, even with the heavy pack loadout like it is. Now the difference here is in the water bladder system itself. This one is not a, what is it? It's not a standard Camelback water bladder, but it's actually, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it out here, but hopefully you guys can maybe see here. I can pick it up and show you guys. So hopefully you can see in here, but if not, it's a Geiger rig. And so here, I'll shine some light in there so you guys can see, hopefully. But it's a Geiger rig setup. So I have it in there, and I've been liking the Geiger rig for a little bit of time now. I've been using it. It's really nice because you can actually like charge the system up and use it as a pressurized system for washing things out if you need to. But more than that, and actually in this little pouch back here, this green zippered one here, I'm actually carrying the pressuring system for the Geiger rig, because you kind of have to have that for the pressure system to work. But more than that, I'm carrying an Aquamira Frontier Max, and this is a Frontier Max here, and this is a water filter. And what I like about this is that you can tie it in to your water bladder system, so that you can just take pond water, put it in there, and use your Frontier Max system to have water. But you can also use this as a straw. It has multiple purposes, and if you know how to use it, you can use it as quite a few different things, but ultimately it's a water filter. And so it's a really good water filter. So I've really wanted to add a water filter to this long-term wood setup, because I know, like, once again, this is addressing many concerns that I've gotten over the years with my how to live in the woods long term. But a lot of people are like, boiling is not quite adequate enough. You should really have, some other methods like water filtration for your water. And I definitely agree with them on that. And so that's why I added the Aquamira Frontier Max to this setup. And the Frontier Max can filter through 300 gallons. I believe it's 300 gallons per filter. And I do have another filter for the system. So that's 600 gallons, which is a lot of gallons of water. So not an infinite amount, but certainly quite a few, plus all the gallons that are on it right now. So that's why I wanted to kind of break that down. But now I'm actually going to flop this around, and we'll take a look at all the different pouches and packs, aside from the one that I just went over. Okay guys, so I'm gonna have to start unfastening this thing, and first I'm gonna go over my gray. Gray is ammo pouch for me, so this exterior pouch here that is gray is my ammo pouch. So it's a little bit tricky to get into, but in this pouch is where I'm carrying all my ammo, aside from, like I said, I have some ammo on my body for the 2 guns I'm running. But I'm only running 2 guns, so for the 2 guns I'm running, I have 50 rounds of 41 rem mag here, so 20 plus 40, or 20 plus 50, sorry, is 70 rounds of rem mag. And I was kind of thinking I didn't need a whole lot of ammo for the rem mag, because it's not supposed to be a gun that I'm using, in and out every day for doing a lot of game work. It's a kind of a gun that's more of an emergency, or if I need it to, like defend myself, or if I need to take down some large game animal, that's when I use it. So I'm carrying only 70 rounds, but keeping in mind that the 41 rem mag is also a heavier round to carry. So this 50 rounds here weighs about as much as all of this 22 ammo, because these are 175 grainers, and yeah, these are really heavy rounds. So I didn't want to carry too much, and also I figured 70 rounds is pretty good for the application that I want to employ it. So like I kind of said here, I have 300 rounds for the 22, and that's because it's going to be more of my everyday kind of critter getter, so to speak. And so I have just in these 2, this is just Remington 22, and this is, oh, these are both Remington. Okay, so this white box is Remington military ammo, and so it's just kind of a standard military ammo. And then this is just some Remington like Viper, so it's just kind of like a fast velocity round. But that together, so those are both 50 rounds, and then so that's 100 rounds there. And then in these 2 I have CCI CB shorts, and then I have CCI mini mags, and those are both 100 rounds. So 100 rounds of CB shorts and 100 rounds of mini mag, plus 100 rounds of just Remington ammunition. So that's 300 rounds there for the 22. And so that's how much ammo I have for this setup, and I figure it's a pretty good amount of ammo for what I'm going to be using the guns for. So moving over to this pouch here, this orange zippered one, in here I don't have too much. I would just have clothing in here, so socks, underwear, and probably some shirts. Not so much pants, but some shirts and some kind of things I would go through. And once again, thinking hypothetical, just putting on our hypothetical pants, so to speak. This would be springtime, so I would be washing the clothes semi-regularly with water, whether it's from the hydration pouch or whether it's in a lake or a pond. I'd be washing the clothes. So I have like a few extra pairs of things so that I can rotate through them. Then next to that, I have the complete military Bible, or not the complete military, but it's a complete Bible in ACU. So it's just like military. And so anyways, that's that. And then lastly in here, I just like to have a few ferro rods, as you guys I'm sure are aware already. So in here I have a Gobspark, and this is just a nice Gobspark. I've been using it a little bit, as you guys can see, but that's a Gobspark ferro rod. So just been running that, and I have that as an extra ferro rod. And then in here as well, just for some backup stuff, they're a little bit more hidden and buried, but I have some different Cliff Bars you guys can see. So I have a few Cliff Bars in here as emergency food in case the going gets tough, so to speak, or I can't find any game animals or whatnot. I have a few backups because it would suck to be solely reliant just on what the guns could bring in. So anyways, moving up over to this middle kind of clamshell here, I have around 400, I think. It's either 300 or 400 feet of paracord. Some of it's loose like this, and then others of it is on spools like that. Then also I have 4 tent pegs here, which you guys are obviously going to see here in a little bit what those are for. So a couple spools, and then just a handful of different like loose strands for different things of paracord. And that should pretty well hold me over for any kind of needs I have for cordage. So then moving over to this side, you guys can see this is red for emergency, and this is of course my first aid kit. So that is the red zipper. It's just for first aid and not too much else. So now moving over to the, I should cover this one too. So now moving over to this one, I have a bot hanger, and this is because I'm carrying a titanium bot in here. So this is a bot hanger for hanging it over fires. It's just a small spoiler alert. And then of course I have my good old fire kit here with all the fire essentials. And then I think I just have a bow drill spindle in here behind the fire kit. So keep it pretty minimalistic in there, and I just wanted to carry the bot hanger in there because that was a really easy place to have it and convenient place to have it, just in case I need to hang the bot for fires. Slight spoiler alert that there's a bot in this kit, so sorry about that. But okay guys, so now moving over to this main pouch, or the main pouch is set up like this. So I have a sleeping bag here, and this would kind of depend on if I was carrying like anything extra. If I wanted like an extra pair of pants, I could easily move this sleeping bag to the bottom of this pack, not like to the bottom of this container, but on the bottom there are 4 straps, or there's 4 tie-in points where you can run straps. And so if I absolutely had to or wanted to, I could actually run the sleeping bag underneath the pack, and that's certainly a good and viable option. But I'm just running a sleeping bag there, and then for the sleeping bag I'm running a Hammock Bliss, and so this is a Hammock Bliss double, and that's the hammock. And I would likely honestly be using a hammock because hammocks have a really fast setup time. I don't have to use much calories to get a really nice setup, and so I can use these two in tandem. I can use the sleeping bag inside, or once I've like gotten in the hammock, I can just like put a sleeping bag on, and so it's kind of like a blanket, but it fully wraps around you. And so that's that. And then next to that, of course, I would be running this. And of course I'd be running the Hammock Bliss tree ties, or the just like tie-in straps. And then of course for extra tools, like I said already, let me see if I can, it's a little bit better for you guys. Hopefully that works a little bit better. And so then of course I'm running the Buck Thug for my large knife. So earlier I explained I wanted a small, medium, and a large knife. And so this is the large knife, and it's a Buck Thug. And then running next to that is a Uberleben ferro rod. I forget what this one's called, but it's like the Craft Tig or something like that, and it's just a really huge ferro rod, as you guys can see. And so I'm just running that in there. So next to that, of course, I'm running the Silky Big Boy, and then at the bottom of this pack I'm running a stainless steel Nalgene. Then I'm running the, like I already said, previously spoiled Vargo Bot, titanium bot. And then I'm running the Uberleben pot. I forget what this pot is called, but it's a stainless steel pot by Uberleben, and that's the pot. So also included would be the UGQ Winter Dream 11 tarp, along with the tree straps, the hammock bliss hammock, and then the sleeping bag would be the tarp. And this tarp is really nice. It's once again, it's a 4 seasons tarp, so it's really designed to keep out wind, keep out water, keep out snow, keep out everything you don't want in. So that is a really nice tarp, and I would definitely be running it in this setup. Can't believe I forgot to throw that in here. I do not know how it actually got outside of this backpack. But anyways, for whatever reason, it was outside, so brought it back into the pack. Anyways, guys, that is... Okay guys, so hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at my pack setup, or ultimately my long-term wilderness setup, or what I would take if I wanted to live in the woods long term. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this pack setup and this overall setup, and as always guys, please do not forget to give me recommendations. It may take me a little while with these whole pack setups to kind of take in the feedback and count for things, but I do take it in, and hopefully you guys will leave some feedback if you guys find anything you guys might think could be improved. And as always guys, God bless, and I'm out.